Hello and welcome to July's reading wrap up. Oops, let me see if I can get the books that, it was just these, okay. Let me just put them down on the floor. So these are the books that are going to be a yes, no or maybe. I'm going to fold it that way, so I don't show you the first book. So yeah, these books here, what I'm going to show you are the reading wrap up of July. They are my own opinions, so it's going to be a yes, no or maybe. I didn't finish all of the books in July in my basket that I showed you at the beginning of the month, so they will go over to September's read paperbacks, because in August I will be doing my Kindle read, so I've got to go through the list of that. We'll show you next week on next Sunday, and I've got to purchase them and then download them, and I've got a list. So now I'm going to take you through the books that are going to be, as I said, a yes, no or maybe. So the first book, it might not actually be in order, I think the first book is, but anyway, so now I'm going to take you through them. So the first book that I started to read was Girl, Woman, Other. Unfortunately, this book for me was a no. So what I do is, so I picked this book up, read it, and then my brain kind of like wandered. So I left it, put it to one side, picked it up in the evening, and it was the same situation. So I was like, okay, I won't read. So left it the next day and then picked up the book the day after. And I was like, if I can't still get into it, and then I'll pick up the next book. So unfortunately, it didn't work out. So this one is a no. So the next book that I picked up after was this one here, Love in the Time of Serial Killers. Again, this went the same way. This was a no. So unfortunately, this one was a no, which was disappointing, because sometimes I I pick up the book and I think, oh yeah, like this is a book that would be a yes. But this one was a no, but it does say the TikTok bestseller, but unfortunately it's not a bestseller for me, so that one was a no. And then the next book I picked up, it might actually not be this one, so was this one, and I actually totally forgot. Obviously when I picked this one up, Murder Before Everything, Richard, when I looked at the back, because there's a picture of him, so when I looked at the back and then there's a picture of him, I realised he was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. So yeah, again, this one was a no. Right, so I'm going to pick up, so I got to these 3 books and they were a no. And then the case for me, it was like, for many people, I was like, am I in a reading slump? Because I've tried to pick up these 3 books and unfortunately I just couldn't get into it. So I was just thinking, am I in a reading slump? And then there's a book on here by Martina Cole, which is going to be the last book, where I was like, okay, she's in my basket. If I get to her and I can't read her, and then I am in a reading slump. So I was like, okay, right, let's just carry on doing what I'm doing. Like, I miss a day and then I pick up a book and then read and see, and then obviously I'd do that. And I just kept on thinking, am I in a reading slump? So, and then I picked up this one, My Roommate is a Vampire, and this one was going, I think, quite well. But again, then it just, like, my mind just kind of, it wasn't keeping me hooked. So again, put this down, picked it back up, was in the same situation. So I left it a day, picked it up, And again it happened, so I was like, okay, no, unfortunately that one's a no. And then the next one was this one, Honey and Spice. And then I got to, I think I got to chapter 3. And again, it happened again. And every time it was happening with these books, I was just thinking, am I in a reading slump? Like, this is like, I've never read or picked up these many books and struggled. Like, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 books that unfortunately are a no. So I was like, okay, if I am in a reading slump and I can't read anymore, and I'm either going to have to keep all these books and then put them somewhere and then come back to them next year. So I picked up the next book, which was this one here, The Secrets of Millhouse. And again, it happened again. I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't engaging. I couldn't get hooked by it. And every time I was just thinking, am I in a reading slump? And now I've got the last 2 books. And then obviously, as I said, the last one is the Martina Cole. If I couldn't get into that, and then I'm definitely in a reading slump. And if that is the case, this would be kind of like the worst month where I've not read anything. And that would be quite shocking, because normally I feel like I do quite well with reading and stuff. So then I picked up this book, She Had It Coming. And to my surprise, I managed to read this. I managed to sit down and read it, get into it. And then it made me realise then, because I read this one, and this one is a yes, all these other ones, obviously, these ones here, 1, 2, these 6 books here are just, unfortunately, a no. So, and then I just thought, okay, I'm not in a reading slump. Unfortunately, you know, them books there, unfortunately, just wasn't a book that, you know, engages me. So I picked up She Had It Coming, and this one is a yes. So them ones there are a no, unfortunately, but I will do the last one. So this one is when Pippa's best friend goes missing on a school run, no one thinks twice. Heather is pretty popular and more than a little wild. Most people think she ran away for the attention. Others say girls like her always get what's coming to them. Pippa's mother, Abby, has never liked Heather or her mother, Michelle, a successful doctor. But she's not a doctor. She works at doctor's surgery, but she's not a doctor. Yeah, she's not who thinks she's too good for the school mums group. But when Heather turns up dead, everything changes, because Pippa was the last person to see her alive, and now Abby's own house of cards is about to come tumbling down. So this one was a yes for me. I don't really want to spoil it, because obviously it might, you know, you might want to read it, and I don't want to give anything away. But I was kind of surprised about Pippa's dad and what the story is and how it all, like, obviously unfolds. But I would like to have known, all I will say is I would like to have known if Pippa ever went to, let's just say, visit her dad. I'm just going to say that, and that's all. But this one was a yes. And the last one was Martina Cole, The Graft. So this one is a yes. So I'm going to say the other ones, these ones, I'm going to show you again that I've already shown you. So these ones here, unfortunately, are a no. And then these two are a yes. This one, it's really hard because I did enjoy it, but what it's written about is kind of, it's powerful, and it is a trigger warning. But this is when Nick hears the sound of an intruder's footsteps downstairs one night. Something inside him snaps. The thought of losing his beautiful wife and sons, their luxurious home and possessions, everything he's grafted for, pushes him to attack. But this single act sets in motion something way beyond Nick's control. He's picked the wrong fight this time, and now it's too late to go back. So when I got into this, I was really surprised. So I like Martina Cole. Yes, you look at her books and you think, oh my god, like that's really fat. How is that going to keep you engaged and hooked? It's a well-written story. It kept me hooked and kept me engaged. But her other books, I was really surprised. So her other books that I've got are the same amount, thickness, but this book is shorter. So this book is only 27 chapters, where all her other books that I've got are like 114 chapters. So on here, the chapters are shorter, but they're longer in page-wise. So normally with her books is you would get to chapter 1, you would read chapter 1, turn over the page, read a bit, and then there might be a little bit and turn over, and then it's chapter 2. And that's what I like. So when I started reading this, I didn't know if I would like it because I'm used to it being kind of, you know, short. But it was fine. I read it. It's powerful. It is trigger warning. It's a very powerful, moving situation. It's, what else can I say without giving it away? Because again, it's like, I want to say, but then it's like, you might want to read it, so you don't want to say too much because then you'll give it away. But it's powerful. It's very powerful. It's kind of, when you're reading it and stuff happens, you kind of sometimes like might piece it together yourself, and it could go that way or it could go that way, but it's, you obviously find out why his mum is living in the house with him, his wife. His 2 sons aren't there, they're at boarding school, but they were there, but they go to private school. But it is kind of, it's powerful. It is, yeah. So it's heartbreaking, yeah. But it's well written, but trigger warning. But yeah, so these 2 books here are a yes. And unfortunately, these books here are a no. And sometimes that's what happens in reading. It's not good when that happens, because sometimes you look at a book and think, yes, that book's going to be for me, and then you find out unfortunately that book isn't for you. So there you have it. That is my July reading wrap up, and I will see you next Sunday for August's Kindle's reads of the month. So enjoy reading, and I'll see you soon.